Hey everyone, welcome to Marketing with Russ, the show where I give entrepreneurs and business owners like you free advice on their marketing. Today we've got a great call for you, a local Worcester realtor with a limited marketing budget, looking to grow on social media. I think this is a relatable conversation for many of you out there listening, and I hope you learned something. Let's get right into it. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So why don't you just tell me, first off, who you are and what you do?
I am Felicia Mancuso, and I sell real estate in Massachusetts, a lot of the Worcester area, also go down to the Cape. So that is what I do.
Awesome. Sounds good. Good to see you, Felicia. Thank you for calling in. So real estate, you're solo, and you're with Coldwell Banker, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. What would you say is your biggest marketing strength?
I would say social media. Yeah, like Facebook, Instagram would be my two top.
Okay, cool. What would you say is your biggest weakness?
I guess it would honestly be like when I call in here and it's like you're sitting across from somebody and it's just like, what the heck am I going to say? And, just the nerves ahead of time of not having that dialogue in my head of these are questions I could ask them or, how to answer better.
In terms of the marketing stuff?
The marketing stuff, but also, what do I do? Because I know what I do, but it's hard for me to explain in a marketing way, not overload people with information.
So you're messaging.
Get it across.
Trying to get a more concise messaging down.
Pinpoint, yeah. Yep. What should I focus on?
Okay, cool. Awesome. I love that. We'll talk a lot about that today then. Okay. Would you say that's your primary reason for calling today? What do you want to get out of it?
Yeah, I think just understanding podcasts more and how they can help me. Because I've seen a few of yours, a few of other agents and attorneys do it. I don't know, for some reason I just can't picture myself doing it, I guess. You're so easy to talk to, but I feel like, what do I do? Do I bring on an agent? Who do I talk to?
Okay, cool. So we would like to start a podcast. That's a great goal.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, sounds good. Let's talk about your marketing budget. Each month, what would you say is a very comfortable amount that you're willing to spend on content creation, video production, graphic design, posting, things like that?
Let's see, per month, maybe 60 to have all the social media stuff and learn how to do podcasting and add video. Would that be a realistic?
60 what?
Per month, or is that way off?
$60?
Dollars, sorry. 60 cents.
Okay. Okay. So that's very minimal.
Okay. I didn't know. I've never done marketing. I've never done it before. So I guess, I'm just learning about all of it.
Okay. So that's fine though. That's a good starting point. So $60 a month. That's a great thing to have in mind. And there's a lot that you can do on that. And this is just going to help us tailor the whole rest of the conversation, because now we know we're really trying to keep our budget under $100 a month. And
we can do 100. That's okay. I didn't know where to start.
Yeah, fair enough. 50 to 100, it's essentially the same thing. It's essentially no budget for actual professional content creation, which means our conversation is going to be about what you can do on your own.
Okay. That's understandable.
But there's a lot that we can do with that. So I'm excited for this. And it's a great case study because there's a lot of people in your position where you're just getting started. You've maybe talked to a few other marketing companies and you're thinking about outsourcing the social media, but you're realizing it's very expensive to outsource. To do it yourself for a while is the best place to start. I always tell people you should be posting for a year, very steadily on your own before you go out and hire a marketing company, because then at least at the very least, you're going to have an understanding of what you're paying them to do and like why it's worth getting that time off your plate. So practicing now on your own and being conservative with your budget, learning how to like penny pinch and also like time pinch on the editing allows you to be a better manager of whichever marketing company you hire, which at the end of the day is super important and neglected by most business owners, especially like individual business owners like realtors, right? Like I've been preaching that like we need to get people off of the treadmill of like hiring a new marketing company every 6 months or every year, or like totally re-strategizing every 6 months or every year, because there's just a real insecurity in what your long-term path is. Like if you're really confident in your long-term path, there's no distracting like trend that can set you off from your focused, your focused job, because you believe in what you're doing. But most people don't believe in what they're doing. Most people are totally insecure about what they're paying for. They don't understand why it's worth it. And so if we can do it on our own for a while, it allows us to have a much better understanding of like what we're going to be outsourcing in the future.
Yeah. And that's making
it's
a lot more
fun
sense.
Place to start.
Yeah, that's making a lot more sense even as you're talking about it, because I've been in real estate 8 years, marketing the whole time, mostly online. But now I'm noticing that there's so many other ways I could be doing it. And like you said, it's more expensive and I'll be able to get there. But yeah, I'm just learning now. And when I started watching what you guys were doing online, I love it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like a big part of what we're doing now is like everything that we've done is self-taught. So like we're becoming a really strong content creation agency, which I appreciate the support.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is all self-taught. Like when we started, we were shooting videos on cell phones, and that gives me the ability to help you.
Right. This is where this girl's at now.
Yeah,
I can see how far behind she is.
Yeah, but this is why we've done it this way. Like we're in a true position to help our clients in that way. Yeah. It's like we've done it. We know how all the equipment works. We know like what the market rates of everything is, because we hustled to get to this point now. So. It gives us a lot of perspective. And we've worked with so many different businesses. We work with people with small budgets. We work with people with very large budgets. And we've learned a lesson with every single client we've worked with over the last 8 years. So there's a lot of like perspective that I can bring.
That's so funny. You and I both started 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Funny, yeah.
We both had the itch at the same time, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, so right now, what are you currently doing for marketing? Like, are you spending that $60 a month right now?
Right now, I'm really just trying to keep it free, just because I do have the Facebook and Instagram, but I can tell it's not bringing in as much as I would like. So I think I would like to learn more about like the videos you guys are doing and everything, and pay more that way, because I'm not getting it from what I'm doing.
Okay, cool. So
and, like I'm not good at getting like filtering leads, basically, like not filtering them, but getting them to go to one area.
That's a part of your goal, right? Like at the end of the day, the goal of any social media campaign, or just like the ongoing mission to grow on social media.
Yes.
Really the backdoor goal is just to drive traffic to your website or to whatever call to action you have available for people to contact you. So that's a web development or like a landing page that you would probably need, because right now you don't have a real website, right? It's you just mostly use Facebook,
but I want like a more interactive, fun website to pull people in. Like my own. I know my company gives me one, which is amazing. And I can still use that, but I do want one that people will come to through Facebook. They'll be like,
just like your own personal brand sort of site.
Yes, more of that. Yes.
Yep. So that can be expensive. Like you're probably looking at
I know.
right. And that's fine. Like there's lots of things that we can do in the interim until you can get to that point. Because like a good, personal branding website, like even if it's super, super simple, it's going to be somewhere between like 3 and 5 grand, right? So if we're assuming we don't have that upfront, and really, a good web developer will tell you there's no reason to build that fresh website until you've already created the traffic that's going to be hitting the site, right?
Okay.
So like getting your social media up and running first and like building a real brand and a real network of like listeners is important to do before otherwise it's a great site, but there's nobody visiting it anyway.
Exactly.
So
I check it and that's it.
Right. So totally fine. I would push that down the line like 12 months. Okay. And just focus right now on what's going to be a heavy organic strategy with a little bit of boosting. I think if you've got
like the boosting, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you've got $60 a month, none of that's going to go towards the content creation itself. You are going to be posting on your own, shooting and editing your own videos to the best of your ability on your own for now, like really hustling that side of things on your own, which we'll get into like how we're going to time block that out and how much can you actually post and like what can you sustainably do. But with the $60 a month, that should all go to boosting on Facebook and Instagram to spread the videos that you are creating towards a slightly wider audience. It's not a statewide campaign. You're not like promoting like crazy, ads wise, but you are going to be able to increase your organic reach towards an organic audience of people who and then like maybe one circle out from like your mutual friends. And so that's where you want to look.
Friends of
yeah, exactly. Friends of friends. And that is an actual Facebook audience when you run a boosted post. It allows you to target people who follow you and their friends.
What? I didn't know
audience
that.
itself. So like,
well, thank you. I did not know that.
Yeah. And so that's probably the best place to start. Like anybody like $50 to $100 a month and that's it. You want to play in that territory because really all you're trying to do is gain more networking momentum
absolutely
through social media and start to like just build it up over time, meet new people, make new connections. And then what we'll talk about is doing videos with those new connections and like reaching out to them, capitalizing on all of them and like hustling the networking side of social media. Because that's how you get it to the point where eventually like the listeners and the viewers come to you. But you have to go out and get it first.
Right.
And that's sort of the phase you're in right now. So
the networking, social media.
So just for context, you've got 800 followers on Instagram, 300 followers on Facebook. On Google, there's no official Google My Business.
Oh, we got to do that. I thought I did. I have like reviews under my page.
Oh, okay. You do have it then.
Okay, because I was like, oh no, I'm trying to get them all.
Okay. Yep. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't come up at first. Okay, cool. And then LinkedIn, got a pretty solid LinkedIn presence as well, which is good. And you have a YouTube channel too.
I do, and I haven't touched it since, what does it say? Like 2018?
4 months ago, and then 2 years ago, and then 3 years ago. You'd be surprised how common that is.
Oh, I bet. Because it's like you're putting yourself out there, and if you don't see any sort of like likes or people watching, you're like, oh crap, I'm not doing it right.
Yep, 100%. And I just gave that whole class for the quarter 9 chamber yesterday. And I talked so much about that, like how, like, again, it's the treadmill thing that I mentioned earlier. That's a huge one, is like just this posting really sporadically because you're all motivated for like 2 months and like doing a ton. And then you give up after like 2 or 3 months because you're not like famous yet. And it's like not working. But really, like you did get like, you got 14, 15, 25 views on some of these videos for your first few YouTube videos ever. That's not nothing. And a lot of people.
I was like, huh.
Well, yeah, but I
That's
mean,
cool
what
to
do you
know.
expect? Everybody starts with a blank account and no followers.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, even the best influencers in the world, they tell you don't even look at the views until you
That's
did
true.
100 videos, at
Yeah.
least 100. And most people can't even get to 12 without giving up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
I could
know?
do 100. I just gotta like not pay attention as much.
Yeah, and that's what it's
Like
all
just
about.
not, yeah.
It's so much more about focusing on consistency, like truly getting more comfortable on camera,
Yes.
getting your messaging down, which we'll talk about. That is what allows you to honestly, you want to get to the point where like you've done a ton of videos that got no views so that when you actually are getting an audience, you're ready for it too.
Right, right,
I wouldn't want
exactly.
I'm glad nobody watched our first 50 videos,
First ones, yeah.
but it's honestly it's all practice, which
Yes.
is why it's good you're not paying for it, for
Yep.
now,
Yep.
right? It's all self-teaching right now.
Yep.
And it's important for you to be in that space for a while so that
Yeah.
when you do get into the Namra studio and shoot your
Right.
podcast, you're ready
Yep.
because you've already done 30 episodes with people sitting on a couch together with a cell phone.
Yeah,
So
true,
you're
true.
ready for the big show. Because otherwise it does come off a little stiff. And that
Yes.
it's like everybody's first professional video shoot is way like you're not yourself.
Yeah,
Totally,
yeah.
you
Yep.
know, and it's our job to try to make you feel comfortable, but you're not going to feel comfortable until you've done it very, very consistently with the lights and
Yeah.
everything. So getting you there is sort of the goal.
Yeah. And I can see much more now that we talked, how much money I can bring to the table. You know what I mean? Like, even though I can't do it right now, couple more deals and I'll be there, like we could do that maybe next year or the year after.
Yeah, totally. That's the way to think about it. Like it's clarity in what your long-term marketing plan is going to be.
Yep.
That allows you to have like the mental health you need to be consistent through the tough times.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Let's shift straight into podcast planning mode because this really should be the way you approach like all of your content creation. Like if that's your goal, that's what you should do. Is like start a podcast. It's also the most efficient way for you to create a ton of posts because you shoot one podcast episode and you get like 5 or 10 clips out of that one episode. Oh, okay. So with like a 30 or 40 minute conversation, you can pull out like 6 posts and upload, right? Okay. So there's a lot, like I think podcast is the most efficient way to create a lot of video posts because otherwise you're sitting down and you're touching on a bunch of topics like one after the other, which you should do as well. But I think with the goal of having a podcast, the goal of like networking more, making more like local connections and building momentum, you'd want to like, do you have a space in your house that you could shoot videos?
Yep. Office.
Okay. So yep. Solid office, like yep. Open enough background, couple yep. chairs.
Could put a couple chairs. I got a big computer one in there. So I guess I could give that up and put 2.
Yep. Okay. I mean, I like the idea of start like getting something going where you bring a guest in yep. to the studio and interview them. It should be like, because one of the best ways you can grow is cross-promoting with other people. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do a podcast, why do a solo podcast when you can just bring a new guest on every time? Yeah. Especially if those new guests are like potential referral partners or people who know your potential referral partners. Yeah, yeah. That's how you get like a little more savvy with your networking and making the videos work for you because you're actually networking and like, you're probably going to have coffee with these people at some point and talk about how you can work together anyways. So you might as well have that conversation on camera and talk about how, like spotlight them and their process and their team and allow them to share that video.
Yeah, there's a lot of like contractors I work with and people don't know how connected they are to like buying a new house or, whatever, that you might need one right away.
Yep.
So that'd be cool to bring them on.
Yep. And that's one of the like easiest ways to grow. We've seen lots of success with clients doing that. Like one of our early-ish clients, an insurance agency, had the idea. It's sort of what introduced us to the concept had the idea of just networking on video basically and like spotlighting their partners. So like the insurance agency, obviously they provide home insurance and they wanted to sell more home insurance. So they brought realtors in and talked and spotlighted their realtor friends and talked about their company and how their process is better and how their processes work together really well and how like the synergy of their network really matters. And then it went to the closing attorney and the home inspector, and they start doing videos with that entire sphere. And like there's no better way to like enhance the networking that you're already doing than to shoot videos with them, spotlight them. They get a free video, so they're pumped, and then they share it, so your name falls into their network. Like organically, there's like no better way to do it, you know?
It's not like this person's from California.
Yeah, exactly.
Has nothing to do with anything, but
and it's not an ad. It's not, hi, I'm Felicia Mancuso, and like it's really authentic. Like, oh, who's this person who had a conversation with that person that I know?
Yep.
You know, and then they creep on your Instagram, they follow you, and you got one. You know,
I tell people to creep. Like I'm like creep on my social media, like please.
Yeah. I mean that's what it's all about. And
yeah.
You know, getting one new connection, one new person who follows you is super valuable. And that's like how it's done. Because you never know, like one person could introduce you to 10, 6 months from now as you continue to be consistent.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't get there because they just fall off the map and stop posting before like that referral happens. But if they like kept doing episodes every week or just kept putting stuff out there, that person who saw you once will see you again. They'll remember to make that connection. And that's how the world works anyway. You know, social media is just like real life networking.
I'm starting to see that.
You know? So it's all like what you put out, you get back. If you're putting out positivity and education and you're networking with a lot of energy and like you're spotlighting others and just trying to help everyone, you put that out there. And I know that's your personality, which is why once you get past like the logistics of shooting videos and like getting all the posting and stuff up, like once you're free to just be you're going to absolutely crush it. So we just want to get you past the point where you're like, you know, worried about.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, I can't think of a better way for you to kind of like move forward over the next like 6 months. Cause I think that's one of the things that you lack the most on your pages. Like you have a lot of like really authentic, like individualized content where like you document your day, the family, like you have some professional stuff, but like a great amount of like really authentic, like funny, cute stuff. That balance, I don't want to do anything with. That's all great. I just think you're lacking in like the networking side of things.
Yes.
You know? And so that's huge. So again, I'm glad that you want to do that because it's probably what I would have recommended anyway to like create of content. So what do you have for equipment?
Honestly, I have a Nikon, like really nice camera that I don't use.
We have a camera. We have one camera.
I've only used it once for a professional video, I think 8 years ago when I started real estate. Now I use it for pictures. And then I don't even have one of those circle lights. Let me show you. I have an extra lamp.
A lamp. Okay.
In case anyone else is circle lighting on their budget.
Yeah.
But no, I really don't have any sort of professional equipment.
Okay, sounds good. Tripod on a cell phone tripod on Amazon.
Let me write that down.
You can get a crappy one for $20.
Go on a Facebook Marketplace.
Yes, Facebook
Marketplace. It together.
Yeah. At some point, we'll put a list together of like all the little pieces.
Oh yeah, good idea.
But you can't really go wrong. Cheap tripod. You got a cell phone. Does the camera actually work?
Yes.
Okay. Batteries and stuff like that. You'll have to
the camera, it's in great shape.
Okay, sweet.
I keep it. I use it for some listings. So.
Oh, okay, sweet. So it's in use. Okay, great.
Oh,
and it rolls like long form video. That's the one thing you might need to check.
I don't know.
Because some of them
Let me write
stop.
that down.
Yeah, some cameras stop after like 15 or 30-minute increments.
Oh no, it doesn't. I've made
Oh,
a
sweet.
3 minute video.
Three's not long enough.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So like if you do like a podcast, you need to be able to roll for like 45 minutes or like an
Oh, I'll
hour.
have to check it.
So
Yeah.
you might want to just check that, let it run, see where it cuts off, and then you'll
Okay.
know like mid conversation, like, all right, we're 20 minutes in. I just need to like reset the camera.
Okay.
That's something to keep in mind because that could be frustrating on your first one.
Yes, I would have lost it.
So you might want a slightly better tripod for the camera if you don't already have
Yeah.
it, just because they're heavier. So you need something with a little more stability than like a cell phone one. But that's all you need. You can get away without lights as long as you put yourself in a section of the room where the natural light is on the other side of you, or like
Okay. Yeah, I have the big window in front of me right now.
Okay, sweet. So as long as you've got like decent lighting, we're not going for quality right now. We're just going for consistency until you can get to the point where you can increase quality. But
Okay.
consistency is way more important than anything. So
Perfect.
do what you can with the room that you've got and the equipment that you've got. Play around with different angles, but essentially what you're going to have is a 2-angle podcast. You'll have your cell phone and you'll have the camera, and you'll talk to whoever the guest is for, I would say, like, you don't need to go more than like 15 or 30 minutes with each person. So if you can plan out a day where you can do like 4 or 5 in one day and just go back to back to back to back, you can roll out episodes like every month, like maybe the full episode every month, and clips in between from the episode like once a week over, like in between the episodes releasing.
I like that. Yeah,
and so
I post a lot, so that would be really good to have that.
Sweet. And yeah, and I think that would be a great supplement to the posting you're already doing. Like if you could figure out a way to work that in. The hard part is going to be editing.
Yes.
Do you have like a computer that you can edit on?
I have a Mac, and it's supposedly good for editing, but I would have to learn it.
Okay. Yep. So some YouTube might be involved.
Oh yeah.
With the editing side of things. I can help you with that offline for sure. That's going to require some screen shares.
Right.
but play around with it. Like this really is like where you get good at like the craft of like being a content creator. Like to some extent, we're all going to have to become content creators in the next few years, and every business is going to have to become a production company.
Yes.
Like everybody has to like you're not doing it if you're not filming it these days, you know? So people are going to have to learn one way.
Right. Yeah.
And doing it on your own, like I said, it puts you in a really good position to hire somebody in the future because now you know what you're hiring them to do.
Yep.
So play around with editing. You're going to have 2 angles, so you're going to get to play around with that. It's going to take you a while, but after, a couple tries, you'll get it. And you don't have to do anything crazy in terms of like the intro, like you don't need theme songs or anything like that. Right? It's not a professional podcast right now. This is just defined as a video series, like a very raw, organic video series that obviously you're shooting at home. People are going to know that. It's not going to be like, no one's going to be judging you. Like,
right.
It's just going to be authentic conversations, and, it is what it is. And then it'll grow from there.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
I think that's an amazing idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you could do really well with it. And then again,
it feels like the natural next step.
Cool. Yeah. I think it is. I definitely think it is. And again, like you'll figure it out, and I can teach you offline, but like pulling reels. So like you'll edit the full episode, and then you can put the full episode on YouTube, and then clips, like vertical clips from the episode. So you'll have to get good with like framing the cameras the right way and making sure that everything's aligned for the editing. But it's practice.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much just doing it wrong a few times, and you go, oh crap, I have to put the camera there so that I can do the down the center vertical. Like you figure it out. You screw a few up, maybe
Yeah.
do a few with like friends first and like play around before you have an actual guest on.
Right, right.
That's the best way to do it, but you will figure it out. I'm confident. And then just post the reels. You just
Yeah.
post the clips, keep it consistent, one short post a week and then the full episodes every month, I think is a good, like, sustainable way to get going, especially if you sit down and like spend a few days just banging them all out. When you get in a routine, you can, shoot a few episodes a day, or a few episodes on one day every quarter and stay ahead.
Yep. I like that.
Um,
And I can just remember that even if if they don't look like they're getting momentum, that I'm actually doing them. And there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of
yes.
people who start and don't continue. So I'm
Yes.
already beating all those people.
100%. So that's like the prescription for year one is like do 12 full episodes, one a month, and like get the clips done. And if you get really comfortable and you're like, oh, I could do more of these, then great. It's all dependent on what you actually have time for. But the biggest mistake you can make is like having 1 month where you're randomly super free. And then you start going, I'm going to do one every week now instead of every month. And then you burn out. So like every time you upgrade like your own capacity, make sure it's a very sustainable upgrade based on the fact that you've like within your own business or within your own schedule, like actually opened up the time.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah.
So like you're in that sort of like phase of like, well, how can I outsource maybe this function of my business so I do have more time for like the editing and like the marketing creative side, and it's that sort of hustle that gets you to the point where you're like, oh, I can do a professional one, or I can, you can do more volume of episodes and post more often. So okay, great. So we've got that organic strategy in addition to what you're already doing. I think you're going to be in a much better place organic.
Yes, I do too.
And then the ad side of things is, again, just simple boosting. Have you ever run a boost?
Yes, many.
Okay, sweet. So you're familiar with like, how kind of simple it is.
Yes, very simple.
Cool. As long as you use it simply.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you go
get
into
yourself
ads
into a lot of
manager,
trouble going through all those.
yeah, exactly. But that's good. So at least you already have like your ads account set up. You've run boosts, so like there's no issues with your ads account or anything like that, which is huge. Explore, like go to run a boost when we get off the call or like whenever you're ready, and look for that your followers and their friends option for the audience.
Yeah, have to. Yeah.
And I think like live there for a year.
Yeah. Let me write this down.
So like $50 a month, once the episodes start rolling out, like boost the video. I would put the full episode on YouTube, put the full episode on Facebook, put clips on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like post on as much as you can.
Yep.
And we could talk about that too. Like, what do you, like, how much time realistically do you have to post? Because I don't want you to commit, I don't want to tell you to do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. If you feel
I commit a lot of time to those because I've just noticed that I have really good luck staying in touch with people that way.
Okay. Perfect.
So I do put, sometimes it's like randomly throughout the day because I'll do something cool and then I'll be in my car waiting for clients to get to a home and I'll post that. Like I don't usually set out a piece of my day, which I know a lot of people do. Like they don't go on until this time, but I'm very like every day, multiple times a day, just because that is really, I want to say top way almost to get my clients.
Yeah.
Just because everyone's remembering me constantly and they've used me in the past and now we're staying in touch. So every day I'm on for sure.
Cool. So you're going to need to time block this.
Okay. Yeah. I know.
So like the reason is because uploading like doing stories all day on Instagram or like uploading the quick pictures is nothing compared to like exporting these 30-minute videos, uploading a 30-minute video to YouTube, writing the proper caption every time. Like that's it, like it's going to take like an hour a day. Okay. I don't know, not an hour a day, but like
Yeah, I'm ready for that though, because I do believe
familiarize yourself with that. Like, how much time does it take? And then, that's where you want to figure out like what you can actually sustainably do.
Yeah.
But I think full episodes on Facebook and YouTube would do you really well, because it allows you to boost that full episode. And then I think that would be really cool. And the clips are going to do great too. Get some good bloopers in there when you start laughing with people. And
right, I am known for that.
Like that. And over time you'll get better with the editing. That's the hardest part.
Oh, I can tell that's going to be my hardest. Yeah.
So like you'll figure out what you're capable of and not capable of.
Yep.
Pretty quickly. I
could just take perfect videos every time.
You could just one take wonder every
just
episode.
So you know, if you're coming on a podcast with me, you need to be perfect the first time because I cannot edit.
Yep. So you'll figure that part out, I'm sure. Also feel free to do you could do other videos, like networking around town. It doesn't have to be like a set in the same room every time. You could go to a coffee shop and sit down with somebody. Or even selfie video with some community member or someone. Where you're just sort of talking for a couple minutes, posts like that just with another person, just outperform videos of you talking about topics. People
are done seeing my face.
And it's not that, it's just it's the repetition. You do want to have a good amount, a good solid amount of info videos and professional stuff, so people know what you're talking about as well. But just a good mix of everything. Okay, cool. So I think we're in a good place here. You've got time to do Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, which is huge. Google's looking good. I think that's your prescription. I think try to commit to doing one full podcast episode every month. I would plan 3 months out your first episode, because that's another thing that will overwhelm you if you're I gotta get everything together right now. Take your time, plan it out. Tell yourself February 1st I'm going to release my first episode, so you've got the rest of November, December, January to get a couple guests in, shoot 2 or 3 episodes, throw the first.
You could get some holiday guests.
yeah, exactly.
Bring the phone to Thanksgiving and show them a Cape house.
Yep, you could do that. Just remember that the videos won't get released for another 3 months.
That's right. You know me. I get too excited, and I'm
that's the marketing behind the scenes stuff that no one remembers.
I know, right?
You're not using this year's holiday stuff for this year.
That's true.
You're shooting it this year to use it for next year.
Yeah. That's how I think about my taxes, though. When it's tax time, I'm 2024. And it's no, Felicia, they're for 2023. Every year.
I love it. I think you'll be in really good shape. I do think the connecting with other people is what's going to allow you to get to stage 2, which is where you can start to you'll be able to say I have generated 3 or 4 more referral partners this year. Or new connections, and then capitalize on them too. If you get a new follower, DM them and say hey, you want to get coffee? Real person, that's a lead. You know what I mean? So making those connections, capitalizing on them, continuing to do the actual networking hustle that social media is bringing the opportunities to the table, but then you have to do something with it. And that's so important in the very beginning. We all want to get to this point where everybody's just flooding to you, but you have to do a million of those little interactions to build your true local following and that base of I always say a real micro influencer is 5 or 10,000 followers, where you're locally in Worcester, for example, very well known. People are comfortable with you, they trust you, you have a good local presence at 5 or 10,000 followers. And so many people are they're expecting the exponential growth to start when they have 700 followers and they're just new in business, And so And I'm in the same boat. Like I'm by no means a marketing influencer, but my goal is to just slowly, like through consistency, get better and better, connect with more people, so that like the reputation lives up to the brand. That and like the yeah that and that's a part that people neglect, is like, well, my brand looks great, everything looks great, I'm saying the right things. It's like, yeah, but everybody knows you, and you're 2 years in business, and like everybody knows you're still learning. So like you can't like bypass, especially in like local markets. Like it's one thing if you are like if you have like a product that sells nationally and you can run ad campaigns and like build a quick hit brand, that like that's a whole different game plan. But for like a local realtor and like all of our local service provider friends, that's sort of like the playground that we have to live in for a while, is just like using social media to propel our networking, and then eventually it'll all kind of come back, and naturally we'll gain followers like without doing so much. But it just takes time to get there. So do you have any other questions for me?
Not at this time.
Okay. You feel like this helped?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like I got like I'm not as scared to attempt a podcast. Like I know I can do it. You know what I mean? I know that the putting it together and cropping it, like cutting the moves, splicing them, or whatever I'm gonna do, that'll just be my hardest part. So I just got to figure that out.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel confident in getting contractors and other realtors and attorneys onto into my house, into my office.
Awesome.
Luckily, I am close with a lot of them, so that wouldn't actually be weird.
Right.
But no, I like this plan. And like you said, I do cover most of my social media well. So this will just be like the next step.
Yep. I agree. And yeah, just like you said it, just stay true to, like, now you believe in it, but will you believe in it 3 months from now when you've posted your first episode and like nobody
Well, we'll have to have another call, won't we?
Yeah, exactly. So definitely reach out again. I'll hold you to it, and I'll be watching. So, but yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. Again, hope this helped. If you stay true to that plan, if you don't get distracted by like any fantasy marketing campaigns or like quick hitters, like that's where people go wrong, is like, well, I did save up like a couple grand, and like I could do this, and like maybe it'll bring in business like right now. It's like, yes, maybe, but like sustainably growing over time and getting to the point where like if you're doing 1 episode a month now, you could do 2 a month a year from now. That's like real progress on social media. Like you are logistically growing to the point where you can increase your volume, increase your quality, engage more with other accounts and followers and network more, and then run some ads on top of it to grow the organic. And you're in a really good, consistent place where you can you can be confident in that as the strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for calling, Felicia. It was good to see you. Good luck with everything. Like I said, I'll keep an eye out, obviously.
Yes, you got to watch. You got to watch and make sure I do them.
Yeah, and you have to have me as a guest on your show.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you. Always let me know if you have any other questions. I'm here to help. Well, take care. Have a good rest of the day. I'll talk to you soon. All right.